Hey guys, welcome back. Two Brothers Off Script. I'm Jerry.
I'm Ryan.
And today it's time for Hurricane Harvey. We've got Hurricane Harvey hitting landfall down in Texas right now. And I kind of wanted to talk about why do people stay when bad things are going to happen and you know it?
There's a lot of holdouts for natural disasters. Please evacuate. Please get out of the way.
Here comes the forest fire. Here comes the tornado.
I'm going to stay and defend my property.
Here comes the hurricane.
You can only fight so hard until you lose. And despite all their best intentions, there's probably not a lot of people that survive a Category 4 hurricane in direct contact. I mean, maybe they've got a bunker. That might be helpful. But if the top of the house comes off, or the house comes off the ground, the foundation, and you're left in the basement, with all your MREs or something like that, it's not really going to do you a whole lot of good.
And the weathermen are the worst, right? The weathermen are like, here we are in the flood, just so we could get the close-up view. Here we are in the, and you see this, it's become like the Weather Channel's, the Weather Channel's.
Storm chasers.
Yeah, most ridiculous bloopers of, hey, there's snow outside, so what I've got to do is I've got to put on all this gear and walk outside in the snow to show you that I'm in the snow, that I could have shown you through the window.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been as sensational as if I'm standing in the blizzard.
Until they slip and fall, and then it goes on YouTube.
Yeah, weathermen bloopers. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
it's about, if you're making the choice to stay and fight or to stay and die in some cases, it's never good to have this senseless loss of life. We can't fight the natural disasters. They're always going to be happening until the weather control technology exists, or if it doesn't already. What's up with DARPA?
Who knows?
There's always the possibility that we can all lose to Mother Nature or to the elements. And with that being said, if someone gives you an out and says, get out of the way of this disaster that could happen, is going to happen, hasn't happened, we're sure it's going to come, you should probably just make this good move and not do it. We were trying to sell our house a while ago. It didn't happen. We'll try again later. But when we go to buy a house, we're now searching specifically for some elevation and some property, that we can make our own, so we can defend against the zombies. You got to go to the fence. You can defend against the earthquakes with good structure, and you can defend against the lahar by being higher than it's going to come down. Because the house we were thinking about buying, as beautiful as it wasn't even finished being built yet. As soon as we started to get into the paperwork, and they say you need flood insurance. They call it a flood because it's kind of a flood. It's more of a mudslide / lava flow
that destroys all life.
That will kill everything under 500 feet for a couple hundred square miles. We started to think about that. And number one, it's like $180 a month extra just to have the flood insurance, which only counts if you have a document for every single piece of item you own. And then, as nice as the house was, it's like, we're going to die if we buy this house and that thing goes off. Or I'm going to be at work 40 miles away and I'll never know what's happening. My kid's about to start school in a few years, and then, okay, well, it hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen within the next 50 years. It's like, I'm planning for the long term here, man. It's better to wait. Number one, we couldn't sell. Last time we couldn't buy. It was a good thing because we didn't get the house we wanted to, and now we're in a much better house. So it's like, waiting game is paying off.
Sometimes it works out.
But
it doesn't make sense though, right? Like, don't buy a house next to an active volcano.
It was an obvious danger. So why not avoid those obvious dangers? Why make a choice to go into battle against an unknown enemy in a sense?
That you can't win.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So if someone says, get out now, there's a fire. Get out now, there's a hurricane. Get out now, there's a flood coming. If it happens and you had no warning, like everything they're doing nowadays with technology is more warning.
Pushing that information out.
And we might get 10 minutes. We might get 10 minutes of warning before it actually goes down. I was talking to one of my friends, and he's in coding.
You're talking about the volcano.
Yeah, he's in coding school.
We live near Mount Rainier.
Very close to Mount Rainier.
Mount Rainier will blow up.
Will.
Guaranteed.
Scientists said so. It's like global warming.
We may not be here, but at some point it will blow up.
And if that happens,
it's going to be a bad
I'm not leaving behind, my Xbox in the burned house. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen. I've got a plan to take some stuff with me. It's probably not the computer or the Xbox, but I will make a plan for those eventualities.
I see it as, and certainly we hope people are safe during Hurricane Harvey here. We hope that people have done everything that they can do to protect themselves. We want people to be safe. And yet, at the same time, I had a guy that I was talking to at work today, and he says, I went through 3 hurricanes when I lived in Florida. It's no big deal. You just ride it out. And I'm thinking, why? Like, your risk is 100% death.
Yep.
Okay? If you leave, your risk is your property that you have insured.
If you stay, you die and you lose your property. If you leave,
there's
you die
no risk to leaving
and get your property back.
Other than, a looter of fire? Like, you're dead, right? That's the gamble that you're making. And so he said, well, were you ever near a hurricane? I said, well, I was in South Carolina. There was one coming. I was in Florida. There was one coming. I was in Texas. There was one coming. Sure, I've been near to hurricanes, and I didn't stay there. And I wouldn't expect my family to stay there because it's silly.
Being stubborn.
Right? Now, if you live, I understand why people work in these areas, right? There's money there. There's jobs here. Totally understand that, right? Florida's a great place to live. I'm sure I would work in Florida. But if there was a hurricane coming, I would pack my family and my stuff that I value into my car, and I would leave until the hurricane was gone. I would come back.
Yeah, it's not
be safe.
It's not about risk avoidance, like never taking a risk. It's about knowing which risks are going to pay out in the long run. Nobody knows that they're going to win the lottery, but they keep playing. The lucky guy who won, doctor or something, he won some of the jackpot or even all of it. I don't know. But every time it comes around, everybody who plays this game, you got to play to win. You got to put in that $20, that $10, that $40, that $100 to get the big money. Well, if your life is your
lottery ticket.
Your lottery ticket. Like, when are you going to invest in your lottery ticket? When are you going to invest in yourself in just the simple act of doing something that has a definite payout?
Yeah, we're not saying you've got to go get a college degree in this particular video. We're saying, save your life.
Sorry for all those
certainly
ones, but
for people who put their families at risk, right? The men and women who put their families at risk. Like, they're making a decision for their own family safety and their own, and they're responsible for lives other than themselves. And they're like, no, we're just gonna ride this out.
It's not the movie where you get to go fight the crime boss, knowing that there's going to be retribution coming down, and your entire family is going to get taken out, and they're not going to be a witness.
Yeah, there's no justice for you. There's nobody to fight if you don't leave or if you don't keep yourself safe, or if you buy this house at the bottom of a volcano, and it gets covered with pyroclastic mud. There's no sensationalism in that. You didn't go out with a theme music.
Well, when you bought
You're just
down
gone.
here, was that you thought about that too, right?
Sure. So we actually picked a house. We actually looked at the area. We looked at where we were at, what our elevation was. And in our case, our house is as safe as you can get in this area from that particular danger. We are high on the hill. We are on the right side. There's valleys around us. It will go to the path of least resistance. And while we may be trapped in this area for a small amount of time, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
For at least from that particular.
Unless one of the big rocks comes down.
Certainly
Takes out the
earthquakes
studio.
are always a danger, but we're far enough away for a tsunami. We're not going to get by a tsunami. We're far enough away from the volcano that we're not going to get buried by the volcano.
Is that why you're building a tree house, so you can get an extra 20 feet on the ground?
I will put some treehouse stuff on the channel soon, but I'm building a treehouse because it's epic for my kids. But I can't rationalize this idea that somehow I don't know. It's like looking at the eclipse without your glasses on, right? Like, you've got 17 weeks of people saying you'll go blind if you look at the eclipse, and people are like, I want to chance it. I watched this happen.
Peek.
Yeah. I'm just gonna peek for just a second.
I'm concentrating the amount. I'm only going to be blind on this strip of my eye. I got a welder's helmet. I didn't get the glasses. I saw them for 3 weeks in the store. I didn't pick them up. Day I go to pick up some more scotch or something, there was a sign on the window that said we're all out of glasses. I said, I guess I'm going to watch the eclipse. Then at work, I happened to have access to a welder's helmet that went up to the 14 rating or whatever, and I was able to look through some green, filmy color to just kind of see a little bit of the crescent because we weren't in the path of totality. Right. That was another thing. Like, an eclipse used to signal the end of the world. It's like people would be worshiping and sacrificing. I mean, what was the Mayans' deal about anything with the sun and the moon? They'd kill 1,000 people or something like that.
Bring it back.
So
bring it back.
Yeah, maybe some rain dancing and some sacrificing will save us all. But if you have a head on your shoulders, in between your shoulder blades there, or whatever, wherever you keep your brain, it's up for debate. There's the possibility that a thought will cross your mind that says, if I make this choice, there will be a consequence, and the consequence is death. And as soon as you say,
I'll roll the dice. I'll roll the dice on this one.
The same thing goes to even gambling. It's like, is it worth playing? Like, I've got $60. Throw it into the hole. See what happens. I might win, but you got to think your returns are maybe 50%, and so you risk losing it all to possibly double it all. It's not worth it when you could just put that money in a savings account, wait 6 months, and live on. Oh, wait, I'm broke this week. Now I can buy gas because I can save that $60. If I counted all the losses against all the wins that I've ever had in my life, I'd still be at a loss. But the feeling of a blackjack, it's crazy. But this is a matter of fact situation. And when you have
Category 4 hurricane, land, right?
Excuse me, I'm going to go on vacation about 500 miles away from
Nobody's going to blame you. Yeah. Your boss isn't going to be like, you should have stayed and you really should have showed up at 8 a.m. because you've been docked one attendance point.
Nobody shows up to Starbucks in a hurricane.
So, guys, thanks for watching. We really appreciate you tuning into the channel. Please comment, subscribe. If you like what we're doing, tell us. If you don't like what we're doing, tell us why. We're always trying to get better. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great week.
Be safe out there.